Alright, so what do I recommend? These 100%, like I showed you on the video previous to this one, because they save a shitload of dust and dirt getting in these rear bearings. I'm thinking of doing the same for the front actually, because they got a little bit dirty, but not too bad. I made my own mesh plate so that it doesn't move. I don't know, these gears are pretty expensive, so you don't want to really get them mucked up and motor cock on one side or on an angle or whatever. This keeps it all firm. Made my own braces as well. I did have a Losi, I'm not sure if you've seen it from my other videos, but I had a Losi that was fairly upgraded, but I just felt that I spent too much money on it, and the little amount of use I got out of it was just too much money on the shelf. So I got rid of it, got some cash back, got out of the hobby for about 3 weeks, and then I thought, screw it, I want another one. So got another one, but this time round I want to keep it as stock as I can, which is, as you know, very difficult. So when I first got this truck, all the cups were gone. All these cups absolutely totaled. So I got I noticed that the chassis gets chewed up by these droop screws. So I got these droop screw bump stops, so I fitted those so it doesn't chew out the chassis. Got these shock socks. I'm not really sold on them. I noticed at the back they're starting to rip. Any sock I put on here rips, so I don't know about the shock socks. So I don't know if I recommend them. I changed these, the discs to the one I've got them, they were all sort of rounded off on the inside of this cup, so there was a lot of play in the disc. So these are cheap enough, so I just upgraded to carbon fibre discs. Nothing too fancy. As I said, this is a low budget build. I did have a monster pipe which was alright, but they're sort of a bit awkward, so I had a mate who was selling this one. It's only a roving pipe, but sounds good. Motor goes good. Normally the bracket goes from here to there. There's a bracket, then another bracket, then it bolts into here. I didn't like that because they always snap off here. So I made my own bracket here, which has come loose. So I've got to tighten that up, maybe put an extra nut. What else have I done? I highly recommend, if you do get one of these second hand, is to change the oils. Actually clean out and re-oil all the diffs. That one was still full. That one was empty. That one was empty because the seals or gaskets were gone on them. Yeah, so that's what I recommend doing when you buy a truck anyway, is just strip it, learn it, check it, and then rebuild it, and then see what you can afford to upgrade a little bit. I don't really like plastic. Bearings and plastic to me don't really mix well. So at some stage I think I'll get an alloy, send them out. I'd like to get alloy here and there and all over, but I think it's just extra weight, and I've been bashing this thing pretty hard, and it's still good, you know, touch wood, still going good. So it came with a kill switch already, killer RC kill switch, so that was a bonus. On the other one I had the iKilly kill switch, which is an awesome kill switch, but again, for the little use, I'm not going to spend that sort of money. What I did do is I noticed these Losi's got a bit of a flaw in the front. is these rods. Where is it? Yeah, these rods get chewed up by the wheel. So I put extenders on, and yeah, I can put whatever wheels I want now, front and back, doesn't matter what size. With the rear body, you can't get too big on the back because then it hits the guard, so I got rid of the guards. So it's just as is, so there's no restrictions whatsoever. Now, something I learnt only recently, which I thought was a bit of a pain, was that you really need to bolt these cages down. I never did on both this Losi and the other Losi, and yeah, it damages the tank. Put a little bit of protective plastic, but it was all getting chewed out there by these things because I wasn't bolting them in. They were loose. It was rubbing up against the tank. So I think from now on, as much as a pain in the ass it is, I'll bolt them in. I've got one missing, I'll have to get another one, but yeah, I've got 3 bolts. I can bolt in three spots. So you've got to do that. And I noticed also before I bought it is the tank. The tank here was getting hit by this cover. That's how much flex there is in this thing. So I thought I'd just cut the end off so it doesn't hit the tank, but I've got this now, so that should help. As I mentioned before, I've upgraded to LiPo. Some places say these can't take LiPo. Some sites say they can. I've got a kill switch, so if the throttle goes, I'll just kill it. I've got I think it's a twin stage air filter. It was a triple stage, 1, 2 and then 3 on the inside. I highly recommend. I think it's a, what model is it? What brand is it? Inside, still clean. Check this one. I used to have on the other Losi I had, I used to have a relocator with the Turtle Racing one. Then I had a Crazy Stew one with a big silicon pipe. But TGN. Let's have a look at it. Nope, she's all good. Yep. Still clean. So, although I went through that water, I think it was only the pipe that was making the gurgle noise. It didn't go through the motor. So that's a bonus. So I'll clean this up a little bit more. But what I'm having troubles at the moment with is the shocks. I replaced the rear shock oil, which is pretty good. So that's pretty good. But the front hits straight up. So I might do a quick fix and just go to thicker oil. If that doesn't do it, I might just change the pistons inside and replace them. Let's see how that goes, because this thing's a jumper. Doesn't just run on an open field. A lot of people like that. A lot of people don't. I like a little bit more action. But yeah, so I made just these out of plastic that I had at work. And that's all you need, just a fairly thick bit of plastic. Cut it to whatever shape you want. Bolt to where the sway bar is. Screw it in the thicker part of the arm. Done. Yeah, I'll try and do any mods that I can myself. I did do this, make one of these before, but I got this off a mate because I sold my one. And that's just to make sure that there's no shit going inside that little hole, the breather hole for the carby. So you just make one of these little filter holders. Yep, got to try and stop as much dust as you can getting in these things, because that's pretty much what kills them. Yeah. So there we go. So it started alright. This is a chokeless. It's a 990 modded carb chokeless. So it takes about, yeah, probably about 4 or 5 pulls. I normally just hit this thing if it's been sitting overnight. I hit the bulb. And the last one, 5 bulb was good, but this one I think is about 6, maybe even 7. And then I just go up real slow. I'll do that about 3 times. Let it all lubricate inside, and then let it catch. That's another thing I recommend, is let it catch, then pull. A lot of people just yank on it. Jeez. When you got high comp, your plastic pull starts don't last at all. I had a DBXL with high comp motor before this, before the Losi 5 I had before this one, and every time I started I broke a pull start, and that was the case. I just yanked on it, and that little pawl inside, if you got a plastic one, either distorts or breaks, or yeah, everything just breaks inside. And then of course, which is hard to, it's hard to gauge, but you got to try and not go so, extend it fully out. So I've actually bought an easy start from AliExpress. So it'd be a cheap clone of the real one, I'm assuming. So I'm going to try that out, see if that works out, because they're meant to work on the return, not on the out. Not on the out, but when it goes back in. And I've ordered one of these, a new one of these setups, because I can't get that off. Previous owners screwed that up. I haven't got any spares. So, and that's another thing, I'm trying not to keep too many spares. I had so many spares beforehand that I never ever used, because these trucks are pretty good. Pretty good. Highly recommend. But yeah, when I was out the other day, one of the issues I had was a big blob of dirt blocked that hole, and it was starving for fuel and just wouldn't start. So I dragged it back to the car and looked around, and fair enough, it was caked. So I don't know what can fix that issue, but otherwise no, pretty good. And another reason why it's I'd recommend putting the cage on with bolts is, on the last Losi I had a 30 degree north big flex body on it. Didn't bolt it, and I went flat on the roof. I rolled it forwards, flat on the roof, and this spark plug nearly put a hole in the roof of the big flex body, which I was surprised. But yeah, because this would have, the cage just would have collapsed in, and yeah, so it's still sort of rubbing a little bit. So yeah, there we have it. So I'll keep it as it is for as long as I can. If I keep breaking certain parts, I'll upgrade them. But other than that, I'm going to keep it as stock as I can, as light as I can, and see how we go. I did have an issue with this one, with the this servo saver nut coming loose, and I was losing steering, so I was a bit of a tight ass, and I bought another one, and I thought if I jammed it, it'd keep it tight, but that's coming loose too. So I don't know if I should put a blob of Loctite in there or get a proper one. The proper ones, you can get some what is it, Team Fast Eddie's got one. There's two of these, but they're thicker and they're sort of easier to use. Or you can get the ones off the Losi 5B, and they've actually got, it's like a clamp with a bolt, so you just, it's still awkward to get to. You could drill a hole in here, I guess, so you could do it so you can tighten it or loosen it, but I found my last one I just put in there and you don't have to worry about it. So you just set it, put it in, done. So yeah, so I was having issues with the brakes, and I'm assuming these are a little bit too loose, so the cams, yeah, the cams come too far out. All this needs more adjusting, I think. But yeah, otherwise it was good. I noticed it was leaking out of there, so I might change that gasket to a better one. And steering, I felt was better on one side than the other. I don't know why. So I'll be checking that out as well. But yeah, they're good fun. A lot of fun. But it's just trying to find time to use it. And that's why I'll stick to my stocky. But a lot of people like the shelf queens, you know, the shelfies. They look good, but they're too good to bash or even to race. Whereas this one, I don't feel so guilty. You know? This one's fairly stock. That's pretty good. On the other one, I had a 32cc Zenoa with a Bartolone pipe, but I don't know. This one seems to be going pretty good. It's a little bit fatter, the Bartolone. Go out fatter. But yeah. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions about anything about this, if I can help I will. If I don't know about it, I'll tell you. No, don't know, sorry I can't help you. But yeah. So you have it. I'll catch you later on.